You're listening now to the Real Estate Lab with Bayut. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Labs with Bayut.com. Today we will be discussing legacy properties here in Dubai. Here to discuss that we have Louise Heatley, who is the MD of Exclusive Links Real Estate. Louise, how are you doing?
I'm great, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Absolutely, it's been a long time.
Louise, you are 20 years?
20 years,
Exclusive
yeah.
Links?
Celebrated April, so opened 2005.
Wow.
Some days I feel every day of that, other days, it seems like yesterday.
Getting any easier?
Probably not, but bring the challenges on. We like the challenges. You know, it's so competitive in the market. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
You can't sit back. It keeps you moving. You have to keep moving forward. You
Yeah,
have to be very innovative, more initiative. You've got to just keep raising the bar each time. You sit back, relax, you'll get left behind. So it's good. It's good momentum to keep pushing you to keep doing better each year.
Yeah. And it's probably been a couple of years since me and you have had a conversation, but what's new in Exclusive Links? Are you still focusing on the sort of secondary villa communities?
We do a lot of off-plan,
Off-plan
as well,
okay.
yeah.
Good.
I mean, now you've got 70% of off-plan sale transactions. So we do have an off-plan team. I think for us, we've always been more customer service, more customer-centric company. So we've got 3 licenses. So we've got the brokerage, all under Exclusive Links Group. We've got the brokerage, the property management. So we're still key focus on looking after owners' properties, manage it for them. You know, it's one thing to have an investment, it's another to keep it maintained.
Yeah.
And we opened the vacation homes in 2022.
Okay.
It was to service, you know, a lot of things happened in 2020. A lot of people moved to Dubai. They got their visas, they were here part-time, they wanted to use their properties themselves. So the vacation homes was a natural progression to the customer demand. That's what they wanted. We listened, we give it to them.
Yeah, you want to have a holistic solution for all the clients' needs, don't you?
They can stay with us, you know, the whole journey. Some of our clients, 2005, are clients for 20 years.
Wow.
And they've had the property long term, they've maybe moved it short, they've sold, they've bought. It's that longevity of relationships. I think it's been always focusing on the people. So that I think keeps us a little bit, maybe different, maybe not, but yeah, that's what our key focus. Look after people before property.
The off-plan market at the moment is on fire. You've always sort of dabbled in off-plan though, haven't you?
Yeah, always have. Again, we want to look after the clients. I think what's a little bit different about Exclusive Links, and commercially, I'll be honest, hands up, probably not the best commercially, but again, let's look after the people. Clients that want to choose a particular agent, if they want off-plan, they can work with that agent, but if they change and they want to go to a secondary or they want to change location, we want them to stay with that agent. So we do have specialists, but we want client-centric agents, consultants that will stay with the client. I'm hearing this time and time again. I don't know if you've heard it. Clients are looking for properties and they're getting passed from agent to agent because they're so, I can only give you this. Is it a conflict?
Yeah, it's probably not the best advice for an end user as well. I mean, look, these things are built off relationships. So that's sort of box number 1. You need to feel comfortable with the person that you're dealing with. It's a big investment, isn't it? Not only that, typically when you find agents who potentially stick to one community, their only real interest is probably proposing stuff which falls under their remit.
Yeah.
So to have that flexibility and move around is
you're selling that community because that's the community you have property in. But what happens if that's not the right community for your client? You know, they know it inside out. That's great and being a Dubai property expert and a specialist. But what if that's not really ticking the boxes? You're becoming salesperson as opposed to a consultant.
Louise, we're here today to talk about legacy properties. Just before we dive into some of the questions, from your point of view, what is a legacy property?
So a legacy property in Dubai, from my point of view, is something that's timeless. It's something that is going to be combined with prime location. Has to be that location. It's going to have something distinctive about either its design or its quality. It's going to have a lack of or limited supply. It is going to be most possibly part of a master community that has a strong reputation, and it's going to have had long-term demand. No matter what happens in the cycles, it's going to have held its position and the value is going to be increased. Even when the newer projects come along.
Yeah.
You know, Dubai, we've got a lot of land. There'll be a lot of projects that can be built and they're getting newer and shinier and different concepts. It still stands that test of time. It still continues to increase and be in demand.
It just seems as though there's always an argument between sort of location versus amenities. And obviously people have different preferences. You might have the people who like the sort of beachfront living, who might want to live, which is mainly apartments. And then you get the other individuals who prefer this more community, greener community vibe with the amenities like the swimming pools and stuff. And obviously the amenities have just taken steroids in the last few years in terms of lagoons now getting put into certain communities and
wellness, yoga studios,
yeah, you know what I mean?
all of it.
Yeah, which is exciting. I mean, it's not something you hear about where we're from in the UK or happening anywhere else, unless you go to a holiday retreat. But it's as if holiday retreats are now coming into the communities as well. So it's really exciting to see what happens over the next couple of years. But location versus amenities, what would you prefer? What would you look for?
I think ideally try and go for both, if you could. In an ideal world, try not to play one off against the other. When you're talking about location, you're not just necessarily talking beachfront. Okay, there's some great projects, beachfront, absolutely. But you could also be talking centre of Dubai, or you could be talking somewhere on a golf course. So location isn't just about necessarily the beachfront. It has different criteria, landmarks and so on. If you can get the both, that suits the location, but that lifestyle, it's going to give you like a master community.
Yeah.
You know, the master communities, they're really looked after, they're well maintained, they bring in schools and hospitals and various other facilities and amenities. If you had to choose one, if it was one or the other, you couldn't get both, and it's about a legacy property, has to be location.
Yeah.
Have to go for location. You know, you can change a property, you can upgrade a property, you can renovate it, but you're never going to be able to pick that property up and move it. So yeah, it would be location.
Of course. What sort of ticks the boxes? What location with the right amenities sort of ticks the box for you?
I think it also is about a limited supply. So it's not just the location, but it's what's available within that location and community. Let's look at Jumeirah Bay Island, for example. Yes, it's ultra exclusive. It's only for the few, but it's limited land. It's right on the beach and it's minutes away from the city. On the other side, you could go to like downtown Dubai. It's, you know, center of Dubai, downtown. It has the Burj Khalifa, so it's got the iconic landmark. It's got the Dubai Hills Mall, Dubai Mall rather. And you know, if you've got a property there that is unobstructed, always going to be looking at the Burj Khalifa, that is going to be a legacy property, provided that your view is not going to change. It's protected by nature or planning. It's always going to remain there. And I'm going to pitch Dubai Hills. I live there. So Dubai Hills, not beachfront, not center of Dubai, but it's kind of a really good location. Everything's 15 minutes, north, south, east, west. It's a prime location. Emaar, master developer, they really look after their communities. There's limited villas in particular there. End users that want to live in these communities as well. It's got the hospitals, it's got the shopping mall, it's got the business park, it's got the golf course, it's got the exits, the infrastructure, 3 exits or entrances in and out of the community. It's exactly why I chose it. I wanted to find that legacy property that was a great location, and because of the master community.
Where is the next Dubai Hills? Is there anything you're really excited about?
Where's the next Dubai Hills? I think you have to watch what the government's investing in. where are they taking the infrastructure? Places that might seem far out now may not seem far out in a few years' time. Remember, I lived at the lakes back in 2000, 25 years ago. That was in the middle of nowhere, the lakes, which is actually a real prime location.
Absolutely.
But it's that prime location in 5-10 years' time. So yeah, maybe Dubai South. I think that's on the radar. I think they're doing a lot of developments in that area. Government are investing. Watch this space.
Yeah, it seems as if there's a lot of interest up that neck of the woods at the moment as
Great
well.
values, great properties to get in on the ladder. Will that be the next Dubai Hills, the next Lakes, Emirates Hills side of it?
Just for the record, you tell me to buy there right now.
I'm not selling you anything. I'm not a sales first. I never sell.
Okay, Dubai's known for rapid developments and rapid renovations, or re-renovating properties, sorry. How can buyers spot assets or communities that will hold their value?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, Dubai does reinvest itself probably faster than most cities. A few criteria. Location. You're going to have to look at the location. What is part of that master plan? What is going to be built around you? What is the government investing in that area? Because that location, it's very hard to get something on the beachfront or in these prime locations now. So you have to think a little bit outside the box, go beyond just the property now, but think about where it's going to be in 5-10 years. Master communities, I think, are absolute key. I see that where people are wanting to be part of these master communities. They want the lifestyle. They want to live, work, be home. They want everything on their doorstep. Why not? And master communities that are developing all that they will need in that one area. But I also think what's quite key is look at the buyer profile, look at who's buying what, where. In particular, we talk about scarcity and limited supply. If it's a big end user market, it's going to have limited supply. If end users are making that their home because they want the location and they want the lifestyle and they want to be in that key hub, that's where you should follow. Watch what the buyers are doing, see what the profile is. Investors, absolutely, but they're not attached to the lifestyle. And when you asked before about lifestyle and location, I think both, if you can get both, is absolutely key.
It's like when you go on holiday and you're looking for a restaurant, you try and find where the locals are eating, don't you?
You'll walk past every restaurant that's quiet, or you'll see who the local culture is. And right, we're going there. It's true. Watch where people are living. They know something.
Yeah, I think that's, I think Talal Al Gas really sort of been on fire the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I did purchase in Talal Al Gas.
Oh, did you? Never told me about that either.
Sorry, I forgot about that one too. Next one, promise, and again, why did I go there? The location I thought was phenomenal. A lot of the villa communities were going further and further out, which is absolutely fine, particularly with the rail and the government infrastructure plans. But Talal Al Gas, I thought it was a great location. Right on Dubai, obviously Hessa Street's going to be improved upon. And the amenities, the facilities, the villa themselves, the lifestyle it was offering. And I think that's another.
I suppose talking about legacy properties, that's one thing you need to take into consideration about what's bougie at the minute, but might not be as attractive in a few years' time.
Think beyond, where we were talking about location before, and I live in Dubai Hills. There are plots, they're villas that are built. They're completely either being fully demolished or full renovation, where people are buying the land and they're fully redesigning the villas because it doesn't have that appeal. It was very particular to the person that built it. But you sometimes, with legacy properties, you have to think a little bit about what you need now, but how is it going to be in 10, 20 years? Is it still going to appeal to different cultures, to different generations?
What architectural designs or elements tend to hold better long-term value?
It's definitely got to be a quality, quality materials, not just quality materials, quality in construction. I've seen properties where they're absolutely quality materials, beautiful marble, but if the construction work wasn't as good, they're going to not last over time. You're probably looking at what people like now, clean lines. We like the high ceilings, anything above the 3 meter normal. We want this. We want this office. Dual aspect windows, floor to ceiling windows. They want neutral, they want natural materials. They want things that are going to test the elements of time. Big open plan layouts, space. But they also want, I think, sustainability, and this is quite key. And we were talking about developers and there being a lot of choice and new features and amenities coming in. Look at that sustainability side. Look at the energy efficient systems, the smart home integrations, the eco-conscious designs. Look at not just what is going to be aesthetically pleasing, but also think about practical future-proof features that are going to be there in the future. I mean, that's where we're heading, sustainability. Properties that offer that now, you're planning ahead for the future.
Okay, so Louise, are there any red flags that property seekers should look out for or investors should look out for when trying to purchase a property, which might affect them in 10 to 20 years' time?
Yeah, I think firstly they have to look at what's going on in that area, what else is being developed, what plots are in that location, having a look at the master developments, or go on the DDA site and see what the plans are, particularly in regards to maybe oversupply. There's a lot of apartments being sold off plan, as we know, and as we were discussing, 70% off plan. But what is going to set your property apart from somebody else's? If you are going to be up against tens of thousands of properties, it's not going to be a legacy property. It's not going to have its scarcity or limited supply. So think about the oversupply maybe within that area. I think you also need to look at the durability and how properties are maintained. Look at developers. Who is the developer? What is their reputation? How do they take care of their older buildings? Now, there's buildings ready now that have been up 20 years and they're like how they were 20 years ago. They are maintained so well. Those are the reputable developers to invest in. So be cautious. Don't just go for the shiny brochure that looks all glossy and looks, futuristic, a bit of a fad. Go for something that is going to stand the test of time and it is going to be relevant in 10 to 20 years.
Do you feel that developers have now went for an approach of quantity over quality though, especially when we're looking at apartments, even villas, so to speak, as well, where everything's that little bit smaller, everything's that little bit more boxy in comparison to how it used to be. Do you believe that's going to affect?
We can look at the original villas that were, and still legacy properties. Let's take Arabian Ranches, for example, huge plots, big plots. And then, as you say, the plots have got smaller, it's gone more commercial. But you're again looking at that international clientele. A boxy villa from our standards in Dubai is not a boxy villa for a European investor.
Okay.
It's actually standardized. I always go home and think, I can't, this bedroom is really small, you get used to it, or there's one bathroom, you've got to think about who is buying these properties, and they're making the properties more available to people. Not every property is going to be a legacy property, which is what we're talking about. But it's, it's still investment properties where people can live. So they went more affordable. They went more affordable for people, obviously on a bigger scale, as you say. They get more villas on their plots. Everything offers something different. They are really focusing on the communities, the lagoons, what else is going to be there, the lazy rivers, and all the different added on features that keep coming out to attract people to make that a prime location because of the master community.
Okay, so just to touch on one more question. How does off-plan fit into the equation with legacy properties when they're not essentially built yet? What should we be looking at here if we're wanting to purchase a legacy property off plan?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of legacy. Every legacy property started as an off plan. So, and the demand's there. So it's going to go back to looking at the developer, the reputation of the developer, what they've built before, what is going to be different about that property. There is so much off plan, and you've got to look at what mentioned the supply, what's going to be different to your property, but also things like your view. You might be unofficially sold what might look like a landscaped view or a canal view or a lake view or this view, but in reality that's just a nice drawing or a marketing, and maybe if you don't check the master development or the plans, maybe something else is going to be coming up there, and that will devalue your property. Now, I've seen properties in Dubai, if the exact same property, if they have uninterrupted views of the marina or the sea, for the property that might face inland, easy 30-40% difference on the values of the properties, maybe even more if something then comes up in front of that inland property. So it really impacts. The views can be one of the most single defining aspects of a legacy property. So you need to really know, especially if it's in an emerging community, what is going on all around you, and that you know that the developer is going to maintain that building or that master community for you. Because legacy, in a nutshell, it's going to come down to durability and longevity.
Not that we'll take any names here, but obviously you're in property management. Do you find that certain communities where people have bought, you seem there's a lot more maintenance issues than others?
Oh, in the community.
Not that we're going to single any of them out. You need to work with them.
I think it's a safe bet. I think that's again what buyers should look after. Master communities can be looked after by the developers. Single individual properties have through the jointly owned properties through DLD will have a assigned facility management company, but the master communities, the developers are thinking future. They're thinking, we got to keep this good in the condition because we're going to do more. And people will look, and you should look. You should go to the communities, all those buildings, and see how they're maintained. But no, I would say it would be individually managed buildings. And this is why in 2019 they brought in the laws where now the Dubai Land Department get involved in putting in the right companies to make sure that that property is maintained. Because the last thing you want is to buy an investment and it actually drop value just because of its aging and its upkeep.
Well, Louise, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you again.
Thank you.
Let's not keep it so long next
I know,
time.
thank you for inviting me.
For everyone watching at home, if you're interested in finding your legacy property, then feel free to reach out to Louise. Thank you and goodbye. You're listening now to the Real Estate Lab with Bayut.